The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown.
Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Do you believe in cryptids? Have you ever seen one?
Supernatural or cryptid? What is it? On a random phone. Oh my God.
Have you ever had an experience with something unidentifiable?
Are you afraid to tell your story?
Don't be. So we're here to listen.
We are the Southern Appalachia Sasquatch Seekers.
Hello.
Hold on a second. I got a picture up here.
There we are.
Hey guys, we'll bring the guests on just a minute. We'll say hi to a few people. Gary, we got Gary and Bobby.
Wendell, Stacy,
Yeah, Bigfoot fans 33.
Skitter operator, Sharon. Thank y'all for showing up. We appreciate your support.
At Stace 13, I've seen some new names, I think, on here. Yeah, we do. We really do. We got some people that aren't in chat, too. Sharon, 2950. And I think I said Skitter operator. Okay. Yeah, we do thank y'all for being here. We've got some guests that y'all have seen and listened to before that are really good and have a lot of activity on their place, and it's still going on. And we'll bring Pam and Paul back in here now. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Y'all make them welcome and tell them how much you appreciate them coming on and telling their story. Pam, Paul, do y'all want anything y'all like to start with? I mean, I know sometimes when you're on shows and you get thrown out of your rhythm, it's hard to remember to tell everything. So we'll kind of let you lead on what you want to talk about, okay, so that we don't miss something. Does that sound okay?
Well, we'll kind of tell like stuff that happened in the beginning and then get into the later stuff. We'll try to do a kind of a speed through the first part of it. But he can start it because he's the one that noticed stuff first.
I guess probably in like 2004 was our first things going on. When I first started hunting out here, I found 5 tracks. They was about 8 to 9 inches long in a trail going out to the power line. It was during deer season. I was walking to my stand and they was really fresh, like it was right in front of me, through the mud there, and they was in a line, a straight line. They wasn't offset like a person walks.
Yeah,
that caught my eye, and I didn't know anything about Bigfoot, but that did catch my eye that they was just in a straight line like that,
Because the land back then here, there was an old man and woman that lived here, and they didn't have any little kids out here running around, and they gave us permission to come out here and hunt. So
and nobody else hunted here either.
It was just us. So
and it was fairly close to their house, within I won't say 150, 200, maybe 200 yards from their house. they had a house trailer there. And anyway, that was the first thing that I ever noticed out here. And then as we started hunting more,
It's when
then we just started noticing more and more all the time. You
Yeah.
know.
But we wasn't thinking Bigfoot. And around that time, after a few years, I think that Finding Bigfoot had came out. And then I have a friend who kept telling me, because she had seen a Bigfoot when she was a little girl. And she said, I think y'all have Bigfoot out there, and I'd laugh, and I'd be like, oh, no, there ain't no way, But as time went on, we started kind of, wondering, just with strange things that happened. And then in 2014, there was 80 acres here. In 2014, we was able to buy 40 of the 80 acres. And that's when we started noticing a lot more. We had to come in. We had to make a road to get back here to where we built our house. And right off the bat, when we was building, we had the house. We was able to come inside. Had the roof and everything on it. And I was standing at the sliding doors. I had stepped out. Paul was in here, and he was doing something that was really noisy. I stepped out the front doors, just looking outside. We had a yard lot. We had electricity and everything out here by that time. And I looked across the creek, and there was these two big cedar trees. And I seen something run in between those trees. And I what in the world? So I turned around, I come back in, and I told Paul, I said, either my eyes are playing tricks or I just seen something. I said, it was huge, run in between those trees. It was dark outside.
And that was how long after you'd been there?
We wasn't even moved in. We were still working. Then it was a couple of nights, or I think it was the next day, maybe Paul's brother and his wife came out, and she was looking out in the yard, and she found an arrowhead in the yard. And so I think it was like the next night after that, or the next evening, I went out there and was looking for arrowheads, and I found, which I didn't send you these pictures, but I found two tracks. That was it, just two. It was one small one and one big one. And I looked everywhere else, all the way around, could not find another track anywhere else. We came out here one day to work, and there was handprints on the sliding doors, up high, like it was something was looking in like this, putting its face up, and the hands were huge. I remember, I tried to clean them off, and it was real, when I sprayed the cleaner on there and went to wipe them, it just smeared. It was real greasy. It's hard to get off. Mm-hmm. And then, there's so much, y'all. But then once we got moved in, that was when we started hearing trees go over, bushes being shook. We'd go outside. We didn't have good phone service here, so to send a text, a lot of times you'd have to go outside, even if it was night. And I remember one night in particular, I went outside to send a text, and behind the house, I hear, it sounded like a knock is what it sounded like, and then a crack, and then a tree went over. And Paul, I don't know if you remember me when I come flying back in, and I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, this is ridiculous. Our son moved back in with us for a little bit, and he would go outside. He was, Mom, come out here and listen to this. There'd be bushes being snapped and, shook. And, but I would hunt after we moved out here, which, I had things happen a little bit whenever we was hunting before we bought the property. But I remember this one day in particular, I was hunting after we had moved out here. I had two trees go down behind me within a couple hours, and these were big trees. And then I come back to the house, I told Paul, I said, is that normal? Because it wasn't stormy, it wasn't windy. And so he went back and hunted with me that afternoon. And how long was we sitting there?
Maybe not even 10 minutes, probably.
Yeah. And then there goes another tree.
Yeah, and it was calm too.
It was,
no wind
yeah.
blowing.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, occasionally a huge tree will fall down, just because it's time for it. But without the wind,
yeah,
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense, does it?
no. I mean, and like
And that was 3 in one day.
yeah, within the span of from 6 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
But we've had lots of trees.
Yeah.
Around.
We had like
It's
4 last year,
yeah.
last spring, and then this year we've had 3 or 4 already. That's just what when we're outside.
So that's the spring too.
Yeah.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sounds a lot to do with like maybe their mating season also.
Yeah. Or maybe they're coming back into their territory, more often or something. I don't know, because we always get that really strong. It's like a rotten urine smell. I've gotten little whiffs of it. I haven't smelt it really bad yet, but that's been an every year thing. It starts really bad in the spring and goes through the summer all the way into the fall. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah,
That may not be urine. It may be the estrogen, estrogen and
Could
stuff
be.
like that.
But
Would it be that time of year?
yeah. But I know it's something that lasts from the spring all the way through to fall. Because I've smelt it in the fall, and I've even smelt it through the winter. Gotten just brief whiffs of it through the winter. But
I've often wondered if they can emit that smell like a skunk can do.
like a defense or.
Well, if you knew if it was the male or the female, it would help. But that's impossible to find out. But because we're just this is dogs, for example. The female puts that scent off, so the males come in, and to me that might be what it is. Some females putting the scent off, and then but I don't know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a, really good idea that you have there. Very well could be, because I've even wondered, like if it was marking their territory, I thought maybe it's their way of keeping like a repellent for bugs and ticks, because it seems like their hair and skin. I know those handprints that I tried to wipe off were really oily. It made me wonder if that's their way of keeping bugs and like ticks and stuff off of them. I don't know. But let me think. We was coming home from church one day. You tell this, the arm.
Yeah. Back then, crossing the creek, back then we had to drive down through the creek. But now we've got culverts in the creek so we can go over it. But back then we had to drive off into the creek. And I did. And as soon as I got right in the middle of the creek, I just happened to look down the creek, and there was a arm, and it was well, you can't see my hands. It was a good 3 foot long at least, and it was swishing water back and forth like this, but it was splashing water about 3 foot out of the creek, just back and forth, and when I stopped, she said, what are you stopping for? I said, well, there's something in the creek down there splashing. We watched it for a little bit, and then we looked up, and we share the same road going in and out as one of our neighbors over here. They've got another 20 over here by us. And when she was coming out, our gates are right beside each other. And she was coming out the gate and needing out, so we had to pull on through, and so we didn't get to sit there and watch it for real long, and we went back down, about a week later?
It was
4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Went back down there and walked down to where we seen that. And it's kind of in a bend of a creek, and there's a big tree right in that bend and a deep hole there. And I got to looking at that tree, man, it'd be a perfect place for something to just lean back and relax in the water. And I think that's what it was doing, is just sitting in that water hole, cooling off and splashing and playing. Is really what I think it was doing. But the hair on the arm was just, it was so black, it was almost a blue color, you know. It's
Really
super
shiny.
black, yeah, real shiny. All right, strange.
But even with that, I mean, even seeing that, you know, we had caught glimpses of stuff in the power line. You know, and I have said this before, your brain does not want to say, well, yeah, they're real. You know, I mean, it's hard to wrap your mind around, you know, until you actually see one. And then for me, you know, that has kind of just turned my world upside down. You know, I used to be all over this place all by myself. I hunted out here by myself. You know, he would be gone on his bear hunt trip, and I'd be out here hunting by myself. You know, I'd get up and get out in my stand before dark, come in at dark. You know, not anymore. Um, and but you know, do y'all want me to tell my sighting story?
You just take it like you want to do it, girl.
This one's
And,
always this one's always hard for me.
The first one?
Yeah, it because it brings it all back. It brings back the emotion, and it's hard. But this started. It was in June, 2021. Started on a Monday. This whole week ordeal, and I have a swimming pool. And I had went out there and I got in the pool. I was just relaxing, and I looked down, and you know, we have like the yard. There's there was two cedar trees, and it made like a gap, and then it opened up into a small little field back there, which we're surrounded by woods. And I looked down there and I seen something. It was a reddish brown sticking out of the woods. And well, actually, before that, I had heard the strange whistle. You know. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I looked down there and I seen something sticking out down there, and I was like, "What? What is that?" I knew it wasn't a deer; it was too tall, you know, too far up into the branches. And I thought, well, could that be like a broken off cedar tree branch or something that had turned brown, you know? And I laid there and I watched it. I never seen it move, and I thought, well, I'm going to float over and get me a drink of water. And at that time, I didn't have a deck on the pool. I had this little tray that I set my water, and I always took protection out there with me. I had it over there. So I floated over, and as I floated over, I was watching, and I still never seen it move. Then when I got to a certain point, I couldn't see it anymore because of that cedar tree limbs were sticking out and kind of blocked out that area. Okay. So I got a drink, and then when I floated back, it was gone, and I was like, okay, so whatever it was moved. You know, that's what was going through my mind, and I was still like, you know, Bigfoot did come into my mind, but you know, I'm still thinking, nah. You know, that's just what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're probably more or less thinking bear or something like that. I was assuming.
I was just thinking, I didn't know what it was. I even thought, you know, maybe it was a huge bird, you know. Yeah. But, you know, like I said, Bigfoot did come into my mind because of the weird whistling and stuff I had heard prior to that. It was a real odd sounding whistle, and I'd heard it twice. And, but anyway, so that night, Paul and I, we were sitting out front, and we heard a knock come from back in that area. And then that was Monday. And then Wednesday evening, we sat out front, heard another knock. And then it wasn't very long after the knock, we heard from the other side of the house, it sounded like a really deep, rough sneeze. That's the best way I can describe it, you know, but it was deep and, you know, rough. And he got up and walked over there to look, but, you know, it was getting dark, and you know, you couldn't see into the woods or anything. But the next day, it was on Thursday, we were getting ready to leave to go on vacation. I had to get out there and clean the pool. And so I walked out of the house, and I have to walk past my car. And as I walk past my car to the left, up in the woods, I hear there's a grunt. And I stopped. I looked around, and I told myself that had to be a buck, even though it didn't sound like a buck grunting. I mean, I know what that sounds like. But yeah, I thought that had to be a buck, you know. So I have to walk down these steps to get down into the lower yard where the pool is. And then right beside my pool is this carport where Paul parks his truck. And the roof, it's like this, and it kind of goes off the side a little bit. And that comes into play. So I go over to the pool and I put my stuff on the tray. And back then, and this is, you know, I would turn on Christian music. It made me feel better. I remember I did turn on the radio, but I'd always turn it down real low so I could hear, because I wanted to hear what was going on around me. And anyways, I get in the pool, and after I got in, I hear that grunt again, and it come from the same area. And so I was looking around, didn't see anything. Well, I went to cleaning, and you know, as time went on, I heard it sounded like and I can't remember if I heard the limb crashing first or the metal hitting metal, but I heard it sound like metal hitting, like a metal pole hitting another metal pole, you know, and it came from back in that little field area where I had talked about earlier, and Paul has metal pipes and stuff back there, you know, and I thought, you know, that something just pick up a pole and hit another pole. And then just right after that, you know, not very long, I heard it was a big limb or a tree fell, you know. And so I was starting to get to feeling very uncomfortable. I thought, well, I'm going to make one more swipe back around, and I'm going to get out. So I went to go around the pool, and as I got, you know, about halfway around, my ladder and everything was probably about 15 foot away. I looked up, and there was one standing there. It was about 40 yards away, 20 being the yard and driveway, and the other 20 being up into the woods. And and I believe, this is where it gets me, y'all. Okay, I believe in guardian angels, 100%. Nobody will ever convince me otherwise that they're not.
I agree.
And I've heard mine speak to me in my life, and this would have made the fourth time. And when I looked up and I seen it standing there, she said, "Don't look at it." So I turned right back down to the water, and I was thinking, I got to get out of this pool. And so I took a couple of steps towards the ladder, and I was trying to look. I thought it was coming towards me. You know, I thought it was because of the way it was standing. And I'll describe that here in a minute. But whenever I turned, his carport, you know, is right there. And in that corner, he had parked the lawnmower, and he had put some stuff out of the boat on top of the lawnmower. So it was like a stack of stuff there. I couldn't see up through there. So I couldn't see if it was coming to me or not, you know. And so I was, you know, looking, and I remember I turned towards my ladder, and that's the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember, I was standing on them steps. And I remember I was looking around. I was still scanning, looking for it. But I was on them steps. And it was like I was in a fog. Everything looked real foggy. And then I remember I ran up the steps and ran to the house. And the best that I can try and figure out of the time that I lost is anywhere between 30 minutes to at least an hour. And I can't be for sure. So I don't know.
Just from getting out of the pool and you're on the porch.
Yeah, on the
I've heard your story before. I don't mean to interrupt, but I must have missed that point because that changes everything. It's not like you just blocked out a few seconds getting to the porch. That's a long time period.
Mm-hmm. And because, I remember, this is my memory after that. After I ran into the house, I can remember standing at the door and locking the door. I can remember I thought, well, I need, usually when I would come in after cleaning the pool or whatever, I would come in, I'd run upstairs, shower off, and get dressed and come back down here and start supper before he got home. And I remember I came in, I was standing at the door. I remember locking the door. I can specifically remember locking the door. And then my next memory is I'm in my shower. And I remember thinking, what just happened to me? What did I just see? I didn't, the time loss thing didn't come into play later. I didn't even realize that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, what did I see? What did I see? And then when I came down the stairs, he was walking through the door. So my timing is way off on how I done it all the other times, as far as, because when I would always make it to where I would have plenty of time to have dinner almost ready by the time he got home. So he was walking through the door. And so that's where I am getting 30 minutes to an hour. That's my time.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I have no clue. People have asked me, well, do you remember if you was still had water on you when you come in? I don't remember. I don't know. Those are the things that I remember is when I came through the door, I locked the door. I remember standing in my shower. I remember thinking, what did I just see? And then I remember coming down the steps as, the upstairs as he was walking through the door. And as far as what it looked like, it was around, I'd say 8 foot tall. I used to say probably about 7.5 foot until I saw a cutout. And I think it was on Woodwalkers that they put this one time. And it was a guy standing in front of a 4x8 sheet of, it was a Bigfoot cut out of a 4x8 sheet of plywood. And I thought, no, what I saw had to be 8 foot, but it was every bit of 4 foot wide at the shoulders. It was massive. It had a rounded shaped head. And then, the head, it was rounded, but then the shoulders just went straight out like this. There wasn't no slope. It was just straight out. Mm-hmm. And it was standing there with its arms kind of bowed. To me, it reminded me of something in like a charge position. I could see the pec muscles in the chest. It tapered at the waist. I could see the right side real good because the sun was hitting him on that side. And I could see the thigh, huge thigh. And I could see the knee and the top part of the calf on that leg. I could see the other side, but not as well. And when it was standing there and it had its arms bowed, the hair that was hanging off the arms, it was about 6 inches long, and I could see it blowing in the wind. Mm. But the thing about this is, to me, I mean, it was well groomed. And that's another thing that didn't make sense. But I could not see the face because it had taken its hair and pulled it over its face. I mean, it was just laying over its face. And it looked brushed. That's what, I couldn't see anything on the face. And as far, I didn't see any skin. The only skin I can say that I seen was I could see his right hand, and it was black. So,
but he was reddish brown, but his right hand was black looking. Okay.
Yeah,
like a dark reddish brown light.
It would remind you of like the horses that you see that are like the reddish brown. I don't know what chestnut color.
There's a chestnut that's lighter than sorrels or a darker red.
Oh, well, this would have been. Yeah, they're probably different color too.
What was it?
He said an Irish setter. I seen a dog. I think that's what kind of dog it was. And when I seen it, I literally, like that, it literally took my breath away. because it was like the same color. It was it wasn't a light color, so I'd have to say it was a darker reddish brown.
What about a lab?
Or maybe that was a lab. Maybe that, yeah, there was like I think it was a lab. I see, but that's what the color that it looked like was. Now the lab you're probably thinking of is lighter, but I seen it was these one people, and I'm not sure what type of dog it is. It could be a lab, but it had it was a unique color. I had never seen a dog this color. It was a reddish brown, probably more reddish than brown.
Yeah.
But when I seen it, it took my breath away because as soon as he saw me, he said, "That's what you saw, the color, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah."
Right.
And because it's a unique color, it's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, and that's scary losing time too. We've been there, done that. That still gets on to me and bothers me some.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it came down there. I don't know.
Yeah.
You only saw one hand, right, Pam? And it was black.
Yeah, and it was black. I could see the other side, but he was shaded on that side, so I didn't get as much detail. This side, the right side, was lit up, from the sun. And I can remember when I seen him, and like the reddish brown. But it seems like in the hair and the face, it seems like there was like maybe some darker streaks. But because I remember that caught me, because all the hair that pulled down in front of his face, it seems like there was some darker streaks in that. I never seen it on anywhere else. Everywhere else was one solid color. And that he was, the hair laid smooth on him, smooth enough to where I could see the muscle definition of his chest and everything. But that's the one that really, I honestly thought I was going to be either missing or that was going to be my last day alive here, because I thought I was going to die.
So you did feel fear at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because the way he was standing, and the thing, he never moved. I never seen him move. The only thing I seen moving was that hair blowing in the wind. But it was the way he was standing. And then when my guardian angel said, "Don't look at it," the only times I had ever heard her speak to me in my life before was when I was in danger or my children were in danger. So when I heard her again, I knew I was in danger. And she said, "Don't look at it." That was her exact words. "Don't look at it." And I didn't even hesitate. I just acted like I didn't even see it, And that's the only thing I knew to do. I knew if I were to start screaming or trying to run, that probably would have, I don't know what that would have done.
Yeah, but, Catherine, it's making everybody's heart skip a beat. That's scary.
Did you just turn and it was there, like you were in the pool, and then you just turned and it was standing there? You didn't see it afterwards.
Yeah, I was making my last round, and as I come around, I just happened to look up, and it was just standing there.
Yeah.
And see, I used to have a swing over there by this big oak tree that I used to go swinging all the time. And you can ask him. I never swung over again. He had to move the swing. I wouldn't sit over there again.
Tree line.
Yeah. I would, I love sitting by that big old tree, but not anymore.
That's one of the sad things about all this. Most of the people that have sightings are woods people, outdoors people, and it takes a lot away from people sometimes because they just can't go back in there and they lose that.
Yeah. Well, I made myself. I don't know if it was that year, but I know the next year. And, because I have this swimming pool, I made myself get back out there alone when he was gone. because if I didn't, I knew I'd never be able to do it again.
Right. Yeah.
And now, did I enjoy it? No, I stood out there and just done circles. That's all I could do. I couldn't lay down on a mat. I couldn't do nothing but sit there and pivot and look. But I did it. And and slowly I started getting where I could get back out there. And, I go out there and I clean it. And, even now, I mean, if he's not here and I'm out there, I can't enjoy it. I mean, it's not like, oh, this is so relaxing. No, it'll never be. And even when he's here, he's usually busy. He's usually doing something noisy. And so, but it helps me when he's here. But still, if he's out doing something on the tractor out in the field, I mean,
he's not going to hear you.
Yeah. I mean, that thought's always in my mind. But I do, take walks and stuff without him. I made myself do that. And I usually do videos and talk when I do it because that helps me. Don't ask me why. It's just a mental thing of being it because I don't have phone service. It's not like I can go live and walk because I don't have no phone service. But, I don't know why. It's a mental thing. It helps to be talking, or at least it does me, when I'm out walking. So, but
Paul, what did you think when you got home and she was telling you about this?
I really didn't know what to think, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then I seen how it affected her,
Did it make you nervous? I'm sure it made you nervous about leaving again the next day. And
now, every time I step, because we're right here, it's just as soon as you walk out, it's woods. So now, as soon as I step out that door, that's the first thing on my mind. Every time.
Of course, yeah.
Especially in the mornings when it's dark, when I walk out, but even during the day, if I go out for my first time during the day, that's first thing on my mind.
First thing that pops in there, isn't it?
Well, you need to be because, these things have shown aggression toward the men that these women are with. You know what I'm saying? That's happened a lot. And that needs to be on your mind. Just, not to be afraid of enjoying your property and everything, but you do need to be anybody, if this happens on your property, your daughter or any of your kids or anybody, you're that male figure in that household, and you need to be careful. Don't think you're above being hurt either, possibly, because if you're in that position and they want it, they're liable to do something to you.
Yeah.
I'm talking all men. Don't think, and you're not going to stand a chance with them,
No.
hand in hand.
No.
So,
no. And that's the thing. Once you see one and you see their mass, you see their size. No. I have, deer hunted for years and shot a deer, and that thing run a mile, and it would be a good shot. So
they run adrenaline when they get shot.
Yeah.
So what goes through my mind is the mass of one of these. If and the last thing I would ever do is do that. It would be my last resort. Like I have to.
Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna make it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you, if there's one, there's another one.
Exactly.
And it ain't gonna happen immediate. It's not gonna happen immediate.
I know what you talk about sitting in the deer stand, because I'm the same way. We're not deer hunting like right now, but we used to when this has been like 17 years for me. I was researching this stuff and Jim didn't know it for 10 years. And I'm sitting here, just, I would, because I knew once I told him about it, and he started getting knowledge about it, he was not going to want me to be in the woods by myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything, but I did a lot of my research, this first few years, before he even knew it. And you think about things like that.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to give it up.
Yeah. Well, he now, like during deer season, and it's like I said, it's all a mental, it's getting past that first hurdle, and then, but when deer season starts, it's muzzleloader season, around here, that's when the bucks are really chasing here, prime time. But he usually goes on his bear hunting trip, and so I'm out, here by myself. But he stays and hunts with me for a couple of days before he leaves to go on his bear hunting trip, because it was just, I couldn't do it. And
that first thing when you get up in that stand in the dark in the mornings too, you'll hear everything that happens.
Everything.
Yes.
But
it has changed everything about the way we hunt anymore. It'll change your life for sure.
Well, Jim coon hunts and bear. We both bear hunt, and Jim coon hunts too at night. And actually, he's a distant cousin of mine that Jim hunts with most with. And I've told Jim, I said, now I want to tell you something, and you can laugh at me, whatever. But if a lot of coon hunters run into these things. I said, if you ever do something like that, I said, you better tell Beecher, do not shoot. I should
exactly.
But that's a nickname. But I said, do not shoot. But I said, if you do, one or both of you is not going to come out of the woods.
Exactly.
And I keep telling him that, because I know he thinks, because when you've been hunting by yourself from the time you were like 12 years old in the dark, just you and a dog, and never seen anything, it's hard for him to realize these things are real.
Yeah.
But I keep beating it into his head just in case if they encounter something that he'll think to tell everybody around him, don't shoot it, don't shoot it.
Exactly. Yep. Don't. I mean, it would have to be your last resort, and I still don't think it's going to do any good.
And like you said, they're not alone usually.
They're not alone.
I used to go in the woods and walk for half a mile back in the woods there, before daylight, and wouldn't think a thing about it. And now I think a lot about it.
I did too, because Jim didn't deer hunt when we first started. I did it by myself back here, and I went back in, but I don't do that anymore. Not in the dark. The daytime, I'll go by myself through the long ways in the woods when we're bear hunting. But at night, no, I don't go to my stand in the dark by myself.
I know. I had one probably 30 foot from me. This has been a few years ago. I was in my stand, and Paul had dropped me off at my deer stand, and he rode the 4-wheeler up the power line. He was hunting on top of that big hill on top, on the power line. And he's probably, I believe, 400 or 500 yards away from me. And it was getting dark. He told me, he said, when I come back down, I'll swing by and get you. Well, it was getting dark. And I have a big cedar thicket right behind me, and then just right in front of me, there's a creek. And I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, I hear this deep breath, like something taking a deep breath in. It was long, deep breath, and then let it back out. I mean, I knew what it was, and it was probably about 30 foot from me, right through the cedar thicket. And there was nothing I could do. I just sat there. And I was like, I'm looking for his headlights to come to top that hill, start coming down. But I mean, what do you do? For me to get down, I would have had to get down and went closer to it, And I thought, well, so far they ain't hurt me. That's what, goes through your mind. They haven't hurt me so far. Maybe they won't now, because they've had ample chances. But I just sat there, I prayed, and I was ready, and then finally I actually could hear the 4-wheeler start up, and he came, here he came down the hill, but that was scary. knowing that it was just right there. So.
Now these are just my opinions. I'm no expert from, I've been researching on it, but nobody's an expert. Okay.
Yeah.
But from everything you hear from everybody, and to me, your biggest worry is going to be like a young juvenile that gets full of himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to watch out for.
Yeah.
I don't think the older ones are going to do anything.
Yeah. Well, I think we've had a juvenile around here the past couple of years.
Mhm.
I seen him, and when I say juvenile, it's because of his height. But there was something coming up pecking on my bathroom window when I was taking a shower, and and I have explained before because I had said earlier I came down the stairs. Our house is partially underground, so our upstairs is actually ground level. You have to go upstairs to get to our bedroom, but it's actually ground level. And I have, there's a bathroom up there, and I was up there taking a shower at night, and something was pecking on the bathroom window. I've done it a couple of times. I've had him pecking on the other window before. We've had stuff hit the house, the gas tank, something pecking on the propane tank. And as soon as I open up the window, there's nothing there, and that's happened a lot. But
you've got curtains up in there.
Yeah. Okay. I've got on the bathroom. I have a blind and curtains, so you can't see in, but they can tell when I'm up there. Yeah. I think they know where you're at in your house.
Well, they see light.
Yeah, but I still think
Mm-hmm.
they can sense kind of where you're at. I don't know.
Well, they can probably smell and know who it is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had our daughter was here one night. We was all sitting here at the table playing cards, and I have 2 security cameras. And the one on the other side, I have one that points towards my car, and then one on the other side of the house. Well, we were playing. Something hits the other side of the house, but it was opposite of where the camera's pointing. So we all stopped and looked at each other, and our daughter's a police officer. And so I can turn the camera with my phone. So I turned the camera in the direction where the hit came from. And then we went on to playing cards. A little bit later, another hit, but it was in the opposite direction. It was actually in the direction where the camera had previously been pointing. So they knew I turned the camera. And she and the thing is our house is concrete back here. We got metal siding over it, but it's concrete. It'd take a lot but we never seen any dents or anything in the metal, which I guess part of it is still just concrete. Part of it is still just concrete. But
you think maybe it could have been cloaked or something, or do you even believe that they can cloak?
No, I think they can cloak. Yeah, because he saw something here recently that
I think it's what it was.
You're gonna.
Explain it to us, Paul. You got a little closer to the mic. Go ahead.
Yeah.
She said you might not be able to hear me. I don't know.
We couldn't. It was breaking up. Now we can.
Okay, I'll try to speak louder. I talk kind of quiet. Anyway, I was riding a dirt bike around the field out here, and I headed up the field, up the creek, and something. Now that I think about it, and after we went up there and kind of examined the woods where I seen this, I really think it jumped the creek. Is what I was seeing, but it was an upright figure. It wasn't like a deer, going this way. It was more of because it was tall. It was probably, it was 7, 8 foot. I don't really know, but it was tall, whatever it was, when it come across that creek. But it was almost didn't have a form to it. It was more
like a blur.
Blur, yeah, sort of. A shimmer, blur.
Kind of like Predator.
Yeah,
have you seen the movie Predator? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And we have picked up pictures on our cam at that very same place. And she told me, she said, don't erase those.
Don't erase
because it had a shape to it, but it was like the Predator shape. Well, I erased them anyway.
He didn't listen.
So, but And that the thing we seen on the creek the other day, I don't guess we've told about it yet, but when we stopped in the creek the other day and seen that down there, that's what it was like. It was almost a blur.
It didn't
Didn't really have a shape to it. You couldn't make it out what we was looking at, you know.
Right.
But
I don't know.
But you know, when I had said I had seen them before, I thought we had a juvenile because I seen one that was probably big, probably about 6 foot tall. This was a little over a year ago. It was probably a year in January or February. Paul was outside and he was clearing out over there around where we're building the cabin, and he was using a chainsaw. And I was still in the house, and I had just walked around my chair over here, you know, and as you can tell, the whole front of our house is glass. And I looked up, and out across the field, towards a power line, there's another, you know, clump of trees and a gap in between those trees. And there was one standing there. And I stopped, I looked at it. I could, you know, see its form and everything. And this was, you know, it was a brownish color. This was more, it looked more like a chocolate brown, you know, but, you know, that's probably 120 yards away. And when I, you know, as soon as I laid eyes on it, I seen it. And then that thing shot off to its right into the woods. Mm-hmm. When it moved, it went from 0 to like 60 at the snap of a finger. There was no gain in speed. It was like 0 to, you know, 60 at the snap of a finger.
Right.
And then I could see little glimpses of it through the woods. And it was going back and forth. And when I say back and forth, I'm not talking it, you know, it was taking like 15 seconds to get down, 15 seconds to get back. I'm talking this thing was traveling probably 40, 50 yards back and forth. And I seen it go back and forth probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And all that happened in less than 5 seconds. That's how fast this was. And yeah. I remember I started looking around, and I thought I was having a stroke. I thought I was seeing something, you know, like, you know, I actually thought I was having some, like a stroke or something, because I thought this is not making sense because of the speed of this thing.
Right.
It was mind blowing, and I questioned myself until I talked to Greg House.
Right.
You know, I completely questioned what I saw, even though I seen it standing there. And then Paul went out there later in his coveralls. You know, he had his coveralls on, and I stayed up here. And it would have been about maybe a little bit bulkier than Paul with his coveralls on, but it was about the same height. So, you know, around 6 foot. And, you know, it was man size, but it was all one color. It was like a brown. And whenever he described that, and I said, was it like a blur? And he said, yeah, you know, because when I saw this move, when it took off, there's not even a word to describe it. It's more than a blur. But that's the only word I can think of to describe it, because you can see solidness, but it moves so fast that it's I don't know. It was almost like you could still see it behind itself, but it's not. I don't even know how to explain it.
Oh, we've got the idea. The way you're describing it, yeah. I can see it in my head, and in what we saw too. Yeah.
And I had last week we had Stacy, and I had showed her and Donna a picture of it's just a limb that goes over like this, and then it comes back up. You know, it does not flip up, just real slow. But there's a big area right there. It's actually not real big. It's kind of smaller that does that same cloaking thing. And
yeah, it was blurry.
Yeah, and my thoughts are the whole time where it's a juvenile line down there, because Stacy had been seeing that limb go up and down. This is below our camp, but she had been seeing it from this side up here where we were all camped that year. At that trip, and she kept saying that limb is moving right there, and then and our cameras are right down here below it and got it, and it's just a blurry little blob that just kind of moves across the screen.
But
Of course, it wasn't doing the speed thing, but
Yeah.
the cloaking thing. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we've actually had game cameras, like it take a picture of a deer, take a picture, whatever, and then all of a sudden there's a stick in front of the camera. Take a picture, and then the next picture there would be like a blank. It showed nothing. I mean, it'd be just
or it wouldn't load.
it wouldn't load.
Sometimes when it gets to that, when it tries to load, I've got a little card reader. When it gets to that picture, it'll shut my card reader.
Card
down.
reader off. It won't even
And so I've got to restart
it.
Do you have the ones that you can see on your phone in the house?
No, this is just a little portable card reader.
But I mean, the game cams, you don't have any of that?
No.
Don't let me forget, I'll send you, I got 3 that are really good, aren't they, Donna? We can be at camp when we got them out and everything and be checking the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And these were they're really good cameras, good pictures, and you just took it, load it to your phone, and I've got 3 on it, and we can check all of those to see if anything new has happened on them, and that might help you all. Don't let me forget, and I'll do that after we get off the show. Mm-hmm. They weren't very expensive either. They're really handy. I like them for hanging.
But we've had like a couple of pictures of where something takes a stick and puts in front of the camera to set the camera off.
And after you get to examining everything around, there's nowhere a limb would have just bowed down.
Well, that one popped up from the bottom.
Yeah, that's it.
It popped up from underneath the camera.
Oh, wow.
And we had one come in from top, above the camera. That's happened a couple of times, but there's no way,
Yeah.
that I thought that was really weird. It's like
they like that.
Yeah.
And then back down.
Yep.
And then like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like you said, to make the camera go off so it could bypass it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, I think they're intelligent.
I think it's always the same camera too.
Yeah, it was that same camera.
Because it's on the trail right where I found those first set of tracks.
Yeah.
And this is probably not going to work in your situation, but have you tried to camouflage them at all, like with the camouflage material or something? Or
I have not.
No.
I've seen some people put them in a little log.
We did do that once, didn't we?
Maybe a log out.
Yeah.
Or something. I need to do a little better. And I've even thought about hanging one really up high.
looking down.
Looking down.
I don't know. Well, it'd have to be. You'd have to check the footage on it, how close it has to be. But still, I don't know. I don't know what the footage is on mine. I know I've gotten pictures away that when it takes a picture, but I don't know what the thing that triggered it. If it was closer, but I mean the pictures go. They show a long distance.
Right.
Yeah.
But just, that might be something. It's kind of like I can't think of it's a camo material, but it's a woven material, real rough, that really blends with trees. I can't think of what the name I'm trying to say. Like what the bags. What is it?
It's made out of
Yeah, and it's the camouflage. That might camouflage better than other stuff would.
Yeah.
No.
But I think they can. I mean, bears can smell them. Smell the cameras. But I don't know. It seems like they know where those cameras are at.
Well, they're probably watching. They got a sentry probably watching you put them out.
Put them out.
That's the problem.
Check them.
Yeah.
And that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you all heard or saw anything like, say, whenever you leave and then you come back, have you tried like maybe putting your windows down and seeing like if maybe a sentry or something might alert them that you're coming back home?
I've been outside in my pool and, I can hear him coming. And when he's coming down the driveway, I'd hear a knock.
Okay.
That's happened a couple of times.
Okay, we had that experience too. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah.
Somebody told us a long time ago, like when we were going to, like when we're getting our going to our group things or, going to a research site or whatever, have the windows down and listen for a knock or something, tree limb knock, so that if they're alerting the others that we're on our way.
Or a holler or something like that, a call. Yeah.
I've had that happen several times. So, and I've recorded, I don't know how many knocks out here. And which I sent you a video, and I was going to explain that video. It's the loudest knock I've ever heard.
Okay, I don't know which one it is. Is it?
I really
it's the video, Sherry.
Pay attention to the knocks anymore because there's so many. We hear them all.
Yeah. Wasn't the howl or the sound, Pam, on the video that you sent her?
What?
Yeah.
Is it the one where you have orange on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Really hard. I can see it pounding through my coat. It's doing better now, but now my phone. What was that?
my eyes.
Wait a minute. Well, I can understand. Look, Pam, look just to the right of this video. That looks like two eyes. Right. I know I'm just guessing here, but there's a big black spot, and it looks like two eyes right there above that limb. Does it not? Can you see it right there? Can you see my cursor?
No, you can't see the cursor, Sherry.
It's to the right, and go at the end of that black in the window. Go straight up above it.
It'll be on your left shoulder.
Yeah.
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 That looks like two eyes right there. And not like eyeballs, like kind of like a monkey eyes is what it looks like, an ape eyes or something.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it is, but I just noticed that when I blew it up so big.
Yeah. Well, I know that day I sat in a different stand and Paul was across the field. There's a little field in front of me, then a creek, and then a bigger field. Then it goes up the big hill. And he was on top of that big hill on a power line. And that day was a very strange day. It was a morning. I had my phone sitting there, and I was videoing for my channel. And but I look over at my phone, and all of a sudden there's this big round clock on my phone. And I look at it, I'm like, what? I ain't never seen this before on my phone. And I pick up my phone, I look at it, and it goes away. And so, I was like, I was trying to figure out where did this clock come from, And then a little bit later, it done it again. And it would just disappear. And then I had smelled that really strong urine smell. And then I was sitting there, and my phone was still doing that with the clock. Could not figure out where this clock was coming up on my screen. And all of a sudden, my heart rate, it just sped up like super fast. It was pounding. I had on, a thick coat. I could see my heart pounding, through my coat. And that's what I was talking about in that video when those knocks happened, because it was pounding really, really hard. And I thought, man, I'm going to have to try to get myself calmed down here. And I didn't know why, because it just came out of the blue, out of nowhere. And, and I finally got myself calmed back down got my heart rate back down. And then I went to tell him that right there when those knocks happen. And if you listen after the knock, you can hear sound like stuff disintegrated off of the, whatever it was knocking with, because you can hear it go, through the woods, and then it knocked again, and you can hear it again,
like bark or something flying off the tree or something.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
But during the video, and I kind of paused for a second, and I heard a little knock. Then I heard something. Then that's why I paused and kind of stopped. And then I went to talking, and then there was a knock, and then the louder knock. But he could hear it from where he was at. It was loud.
Oh, you can tell by the video; it's very loud.
Yeah, I mean, and it was in between me and him, up that hill. It was part of the way up that hill that he was on.
Right.
So
it was close to both of you, but in between you.
In between us.
Because it had to be pretty close to be that loud.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think.
Oh, it was loud.
It was loud.
Tree knocks travel and sound travels in the woods because it's so quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the deal with the phone, I have no clue what that was, what was going on, why this clock kept coming up on my phone. And I have searched. There is not this clock does not exist on my phone. It was a round clock, and it had the numbers like 12, 1, 2, 3, all the way around. And it was a round clock and it was white. All that was lit up white. The numbers were black. The hands were black, on the clock. And it would stay on my screen about 5-10 seconds, because it stay on there long enough to where I could pick it up and look at it. And, because I was like, what is going on? And then it just disappeared.
That's weird. Yeah.
It is weird, and then I had all this other stuff going on, like my heart racing and all that. And I don't know, y'all. That was a weird day. That was a really weird day.
Paul, do they ever bother you like when you're out just by yourself or anything? Or you hear anything just when you're by yourself without Pam?
Well, yeah, I've had trees come down in front of me while I was hunting. I've heard whoops while I was hunting. That was just this past year. I had a tree fall over in front of me, and then just a little bit later, I heard 2 whoops behind me. I've had a little bit of that stuff going on. A lot of knocks. I hear knocks quite often, actually.
Let's do some pictures. Do y'all have it? Well, we can go on after this. Let me do some pictures because I want to ask you a question about this one. I hope it's on here still. It's the one with the structure. I may just not be able to see it good. Okay, that's not the one. You know which one I'm talking about? It's got I think that was the structure with the big hole in it. I may have many on it took it off.
Well, I didn't send that one to you.
Okay.
That's why you got it on there.
Well, I was just looking at right before this, so I thought it was.
No, I didn't send it. Just like I didn't send her the cat video, but somehow she got that. I mean, I did email it to her afterwards, but
and
that was weird.
Yeah, and the weird thing is I keep falling off of my screen too. They'd go away. Okay, we'll just take them one at a time here then.
Okay.
There's the cat.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. Everybody be real quiet, and I'm gonna start this back, and y'all listen because there's a noise. Was that the noise? I thought it was a bit louder noise.
It was.
It's supposed to be. I think it degrades it when you send it.
Because that sounds. This was not the cat that I was hearing on that video, and I think that's just. I don't know. It was real deep and loud.
Yeah, it's real deep and loud. It, like I said, when you send it, I think it degrades it, and you can't hear it as well. But what is so weird about this video is whenever Sherry asked me to send a picture of me and Paul to her, that's what I did. I texted it to her. I texted her a picture of me and Paul. And then she texted me back a little bit later and she said, can you resend the video? It won't play. She said it played. She said it. And so I texted her. I said, what video? And she said, the video with the cat. And she said it played, but now it won't play. And I said, I didn't send you a video of the cat. And, she was, so I called you And you was telling me, and I said, yeah, I said, I have that video. I said, but I didn't send it. And we could not figure out. I don't know how she got. Anyway, so eventually I emailed her the video that y'all just saw. I emailed that one to her. But I had to go into my files to get that video. There is no possible way that I could have texted her that video. And that don't make no sense to me. That, I sent her the picture and that was it. But I don't know. But the cat.
The audio was not very good on that for some reason, because you should really be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I could hear it good on the one she sent. And do you believe it's not even in my downloads now?
These computers, stranger things happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with the government and with them too, they can manipulate electrical devices and stuff like that too.
Give me just a second. It showed up finally on that one there, but because I could see the picture.
You're right, Blackie. The government's messing with us.
Don't doubt it.
That's right, Chad.
I can see it right here. I can't believe that, because I've got I put them on the video here by the numbers that were on them. Mm-hmm. And those numbers, after I put them on here, like 6522, not 6519, those are not even in my download folder anymore.
What do you want? 6519?
No, that one doesn't have it. It's it says camera 011848021.
I don't think I have that one.
Okay, let me see if I can just drag it in there, maybe. Because I could hear that. It was more of a growl than what you're hearing the cat. I heard it really good, and that's why I wanted to play it. But 1184. Let me see here. I'm trying to pull it from the video file.
It's like it was walking through there and something caught its attention, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Well, you can hear the growl. It growls kind of loud, and then the next one is a little softer. But
oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me try this. I think that's the one I've got on now. Yeah, because I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna try. I loaded it again. Let me see if it'll play.
Needless to say, though, all those bushes are gone.
Wait a minute. The sound's all the way up too. That sound is not even show here. And I heard it good. It was 10, 15 times louder than the cat. And it wasn't a cat doing it.
No, like Auntie Erin says, it sounds more like just a cat hissing's what they heard. That's what I heard.
You heard the cat hiss after the other growl.
I don't think the cat ever hit. I think when the camera initially comes on, the camera makes like a noise,
Right.
And people think that's the cat hiss. It's not. It's the camera clicking on. But then right after that, you'll hear the growl.
That growl should even be there, though, not just completely gone.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, it deteriorates it, but it's not.
Well, I just done a video on my channel, and it's got this video on there, and it's enhanced. So if y'all want to check it out over there, you can.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I blew it up, and of course I can see things in there, but I couldn't. I could see it, but a lot of times I see things that apparently everybody else can't see. So, and I'm not just exaggerating it either. It just.
I see a couple things too. Sure, it's not just you, honey.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, all of that is gone now. There is no bushes or weeds or trees on that side of the house after that.
I don't blame you. I would have cleared it too. Did you put Paul out there clearing it out?
Yeah, because that was really like 10 foot from the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
But, and then we got the cabin going over there now, so it's all cleaned out for a good ways, so I can see farther.
Ain't nothing gonna creep up on you, right?
Yeah, I don't want it creeping up on me.
Okay, we've got those that we worked on again a while ago, Pam, that you sent me a video. So I'm going to show them one at a time.
Okay.
Then I'll show them compared, and then you the two together, and then the last one you sent me that I think that's the 522 should be later. So I'm going to try these two right here.
Auntie Erin asked Pam, can you play the video on your side and maybe we could hear it through your mic? Or do you have it on your computer?
I mean, I have it on my phone.
Hold your phone up to it and see if it will be quiet.
Okay, look, I'll shut my phone off. Let me get my phone turned on.
Okay.
Because my phone links to my computer, so if something
mine does too
dings through, so I just
okay. We'll know what's going on.
Let me get it turned on.
That was a good idea, Auntie Erin. I mean, you don't know if you don't try it.
Yeah, this what was on there originally was a lot, and it didn't even sound like a cat.
Will you get my Bluetooth speaker? I'm gonna hook it up to my Bluetooth speaker and see if that'll help.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I hear thunder.
Yeah, it's getting darker.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. Wait a minute, I go. All my notifications are gonna come.
Okay. We understand computers are a headache sometimes, and phones too.
All right, I'm gonna try this.
Auntie Erin,
Huh?
are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Hear it?
We couldn't hear anything.
Okay, let me.
Where's your speaker on your laptop?
Heck if I know.
Yeah, there's a tiny on the laptop. It's hard to find them.
I don't know where it's at.
It may be right on the end of toward you on the bottom part in that area, not on the side, but on the part that's facing you.
Hold on. Let me see. I have no clue.
Yeah, well, where the mic is.
Let me try it without the Bluetooth. See if that'll, or without my.
Just.
No, it's not going to do it.
It's not going to do it.
Well, we didn't know if we didn't try.
Right.
Yeah.
But I played it over and over and then and I could hear it, but
for those that do want to see it in here, it can go on Pam's site and listen to it. So we apologize we couldn't get it.
You need to visit their YouTube page anyway, PJ Arkansas.
Oh yeah, check her out definitely.
Somebody had a question here I was going to ask. Let's see. It may have moved down now. Oh, okay. It was about kind of the woo thing we were just talking about, Auntie Erin. She said, have y'all ever heard about the researcher that got all his info put on a jump drive or something without them ever even touching it? All the stuff transferred over to like a jump drive or something, and they didn't do it. Weird things happen. I worked on computers a long time before even I started doing this, and yeah, weird stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, that right there was taken by a lady we go to church with. This happened in April of 2021, and it's probably a little over a mile from our house. And she found these tracks. She said they come out of the woods and went into the river. And there was a couple of other pictures, but that's the best one because you can see how big it was compared to her foot. She has a women's size 8. That was in April 2021, and my sighting was in June of 2021.
Well, there's no skid there, so it didn't make the footprint bigger, larger.
No.
And I only count 3 toes.
I guess I probably should have. There was, how many did she say there was? About, yeah. Yeah, they went
several.
But she said that that it, you could see all the toes in some of them. Sorry,
you can see that little ridge right there on the bottom part of it here, where it went like the big toe, where it pushed the mud up, and then it's like you see 2 other impressions there, and that's all I see. But it's a pretty good picture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this close to where y'all live too? I mean, I know you said you went to church with the lady, but I didn't know if she lived near you.
No, it's on the same river right here below the house.
You may have to talk.
Well,
no, I was just saying, yes, it's right here on the river down below the house here.
Well, I mean, I know from my thoughts on this, because we've gotten other pictures like this that didn't show all the toes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of glass and stuff that gets thrown in the rivers and stuff, and we've got a picture, matter of fact, of one that, and I think maybe Donna and I got that when we were out kayaking, and you can tell it's an injury, because it's like real uneven, like where like something's been cut off and it didn't heal, like what I'm saying, like a stump or something, and so that it's possible this could be something like that. It could be a deformation or an injury too.
Mm-hmm.
But you think you can see all 5 toes on your pictures?
Well, that's what I was going to look. Gotta find them.
And we didn't know anything about these pictures existed until about 2 years ago.
Oh no, it was last
year.
Because I put it up on my channel last year. I got her permission. Y'all can keep talking while I find these pictures.
This wasn't on the lake bottom, was it? Was it just in a mud spot on the ground?
It was in the sand.
Okay.
There's sand that goes down to the river.
And I don't know if you look to the left of it and to the right of it, actually toward the front, you can see marks, almost like, I don't know if it would be hair or something that left marks coming off of it.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about?
Those little lines coming out from the front of the foot. Yeah, I see those.
Yeah, because you can see the indention of like the big toe to the left there.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it might be so much hair and stuff that it just kind of pushed it into one instead of indenting all the toes.
Hair that was added together,
Yeah.
On that bottom side there, they come to a point like hair would. Like if you took hair and raked it through something, they got that little point at the side and side of it. And that's
Well, I think she took pictures of the same track. Maybe it was the best track. Because here's one, like, I don't know if y'all will be able to see this or not. Can y'all see?
No, the screen.
You see that? Probably not.
The colors are distorting it from the phone.
It was one with her foot beside it, but it was of the same track.
Mm-hmm.
And then she took a picture of like their footprints in the mud around it and showing like what their footprints.
Well, it's definitely not like there's her footprint, I guess it is in there, and it doesn't slope off to the outside like toward your smaller toes like ours does.
Yeah.
And we've got a comparison, Yeah, I agree, Reverend PC. Compared to like that woman's foot, it would have to be that big.
Yeah.
But it's just not normal. And somebody else had a footprint also that had those lines coming out from the sides of it, and that's the same thing they thought on their picture too, that it was hair off the foot.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think you can see a footprint right there.
Yeah, I think that might be one of theirs.
That's what I'm saying. You can see the weight difference.
Yeah, the weight difference. So.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. It looks like it's pretty deep.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I think these things can walk and not leave tracks hardly, just like a bear.
Mm-hmm.
When a bear walks, if it's got any, if that ground is very hard at all, you won't see where that bear goes.
No.
Yeah.
Even as big as they are, they won't make an impression if that ground's hard.
Right.
Because we hunt with dogs, and after we get it, sometimes they'll run a long ways and whatever. If they're on the run, we always get it, but if that ground's hard, it's going to take a whole lot of work to even make it, and it'll just be like a dust thing on the top.
Yeah.
What you're saying, it'll maybe make it a little bit like that much of a dust thing,
Right.
but it won't go down in the ground.
Right.
You might see their nails, but you won't see the foot part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to compare that. This isn't a Bigfoot print is nothing like a bear print.
No.
Yeah, no.
But people that don't bear hunt don't realize that. It's, it just doesn't, or that. Even if they step, if it's a double step with the back foot into that front foot, you can tell the difference.
You can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna remove that one and
weird stuff going on with my phone. Just a little bit ago, y'all, I could smell that urine smell, and then just a little bit after that, my heart just started pounding really, really hard. I could see it pounding through my coat. It's doing better now, but now my phone. What was that?
that's a hard hit.
I heard that afterwards.
That's a hard hit.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
heard what she was talking about. It's the booming in a.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like. Go ahead, Pam.
I would say you can hear something coming off and going through the, hitting the ground or whatever on both of them.
Limbs or something. Yeah.
It's doing better now, but now my phone.
Yeah, right there. Everybody hear it?
Was that?
You hear it real good after the second one.
Mm-hmm.
That last part almost sounds like a limb breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cracking noise, like when you break a limb off of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It could be some, I don't know, something bark falling or something. But I don't think you'd hear the bark, but that almost sounds like a splintering of wood.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, splintering.
Yeah, I thought maybe whatever it used to hit with, maybe it shattered off and went into the woods, or went onto the ground.
Right.
But
Let me see what else we got. Okay. Now these are pictures we started to do a while ago and we got sidetracked. I got sidetracked, which I do all the time. Okay. Y'all talk about these, and then I've got like 4 pictures where I put them together and everything. So we'll just tell me which one you need to see.
okay, that's the one where if y'all look at that picture and you see that limb coming into the creek, if you look above it, there's like a dark circle, a couple of dark holes, and then there's the green foliage, and then there's like a tannish gray looking thing in the center there.
it's almost center of the picture.
Almost center of the picture. You'll have to show the after to get an idea. We was watching that. We couldn't figure out what it was. That's like what he was saying earlier. It was distorted looking. There's the after. Do you see where we were talking about?
Here, I'm gonna put both of them up.
Okay. Now that's Paul.
Yeah. But just to compare where they're supposed to be looking,
Yeah.
you see where he's sitting.
Yeah.
Well, when we pulled up on the side by side, we stopped there and we noticed this down there, but it wouldn't move, but you couldn't make out what it was either.
Yeah.
So we backed up about 2 foot or so, maybe.
Yeah.
I could still see it down there.
I see it.
And then we got to talking, and I got my eyes off of it. I was talking to her. We pulled back forward, and it was gone. I don't know. Never seen it leave or heard it leave or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was either, though.
That's the one where it's gone.
Yeah, that's the one where it's gone.
And it's right. It's in the same spot like above where Paul was sitting. And I'm trying to. You see it there now?
Yeah.
It's right, almost kind of in the middle, but down a little bit from.
Yeah.
Almost right in there.
But even with the naked eye, you couldn't.
And we didn't have no binoculars or anything with us. I wish we would have. Yeah. We got binoculars in there now, though. So.
And we did.
It's a smart thing to have with you while you're out hiking and stuff.
Yeah. But and that's as far as my phone would zoom for a picture. I took that with my phone because once we seen it, we was talking and we noticed that down there, and it didn't look natural, but we couldn't make out anything about what it was. It didn't have a shape.
Now, this is the same place that you seen one when you was crossing the creek.
Yeah.
It was just the other side of that.
Yeah.
Tree
thing
going into the water, right?
Yeah. Last October, I had taken my grandson to go meet Mom, and on the way back, this is there, right over the creek, and I looked down there, and right on the other side of that branch, I seen another one. It was it was a reddish brown. It was probably more brown, but it was a reddish brown. It was standing there on the other side of that branch, and I was in motion going over the creek when I looked down there and I seen it, and I stopped. I literally stopped, and I started to back up, but all I could think of is, what if it's closer?
Right.
And so I just hurried up and got home. As soon as I got out of the car, I yelled at him, told him what I saw. He jumped on the side by side, picked me up, and we went back down there, and it was gone. And then so we come back, and he called our one of our friends, and he came out, and they went down there, and they could find some what looked like impressions, but it's a creek gravel, so it's not good. I mean,
couldn't make out any good tracks.
Any good tracks.
You could see impressions in the gravel there.
Yeah.
To try to show it to somebody and say this is a track. No.
It's too hard of a surface to really make an indentation with the gravel and stuff.
Yeah. Because it was
in the water.
It was in kind of in the edge of the water, and it was the big. It wasn't like the soft creek gravel there. It was the big hard creek gravel. Even where they was walking, you couldn't tell where they was walking. So that was all in that same area.
I had that other video loaded. I don't know what to give me just a minute. Y'all go ahead and talk. I'm going to try to. Some of these aren't giving me a preview when I look in the email either. So, but the I
don't remember.
That's like a Reverend PC said. It could have been a crawler, a rake, maybe a gray Bigfoot. But he did say it's a good catch. That's some freaky stuff.
And because we thought, there's no way it was a deer, because a deer ain't even that color.
Right.
And it looked to be bigger than a deer.
But it was blurry.
It was blurry. It didn't have no, and that's what, me and him's talked about. We could focus in with our eyes on everything else around it, but on that, it was just a blob, blurry.
You couldn't see the contours of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
why there's certain movies and stuff like Sherry and I we talk about, like Steven Spielberg and stuff like that. a lot of his movies, it seems like there's certain things years later that are showing up, you know. And then that's why, you know, I mentioned The Predator, because that was so freaky. And then the first thing that we saw that limb and stuff go across, that's the first thing I thought of.
Well, I can
Because it's like you could see it, but it was blurry and it had just like a little outline of it, but it just went so quickly.
I think they can do that for sure.
I do too. I think they do too. I think they're like a chameleon. They can blend in with everything.
I do too. I do too.
You know, there's that video of, it's been a few years now, that I think it was a doctor's wife. She was up in a stand coon hunt or deer hunting. Yes. I mean, she got a good video of that. And
that's what she said.
Yeah, it was really good. You sent me another picture. I'm trying to remember what it was, and it's not showing up in my downloads or anything. I'm trying to find it because it was a good picture I wanted to show.
No, I never did send that because she was having the show was fixing to start, so I never did send the.
And you know, I've heard people talk about, and some people don't believe they get that tall, like 10 or 12 foot tall. I do. If what I seen was a Bigfoot, they absolutely get that big.
Well,
I don't know what else to write this off as if it wasn't a Bigfoot. I mean, I couldn't see the face and tell you that, you know, it had teeth or eyes or anything like that. But the body structure of it was humongous, and it would have been 10 to 12 foot tall, you know.
That's another thing.
You know.
That's another thing about hunters too. You're used to judging size. You know, when you've been hunting a long time, you're used to kind of, and if you're in the woods a lot, you're used to just by the side of the trees, and you know, okay, yeah, I saw a bush; it was about 6 foot up. You know, you just automatically start doing that, and you know, you might be off a little bit, but you're not going to be off that much.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, I seen it in the same place at two different times. But the second time I seen it, it had something else with it. That was either sitting down beside it or it was the short one beside it. I couldn't tell you, but this thing was big, whatever it was. I'm not going to say it was a Bigfoot, but I don't know what else to say that it was.
I know I was with him when we was heading out, and we went through or past the power line, and he said, "Is there a burnt tree in the middle of that power line?" And I said, "I don't remember one, you know." And I don't know if we were living out here or just built, if we was building. But anyways, we went to town, and he said, on the way back, he said, "Remind me to look." So on the way back, we stopped at that power line. There's nothing big and black in that power line. And
and I seen it again in the power line. I don't know how long.
Well, I believe power lines, they travel with them sometimes too. I don't know what you all believe, and everybody's got their own belief, but I believe they follow and maybe have something to do with them to where they can use the electrical currents or something. I don't know.
Well, deer do that too.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
it may be a safe zone. I don't know.
Well, we have a power line that runs right across our own property. Then the other 40 acres, you know, because we bought 40 of the 80, the other 40 at the top of it has another power line. They converge up there on the top of that hill, you know, like this.
Yeah.
We have 2 major power lines plus 2 small power lines. We have the river less than a mile away. How many creeks on the property? 2, 1, 2, 3.
Two coming in.
2 coming in.
2 coming in up there, and then 1 over here. So
3 creeks
and a spring.
And a spring.
Wow. It's a lot of water source.
Yeah. And, you know, plus the power lines, and then seems like there was something else. Oh, the one of the Trail of Tears. One of the Trail of Tears runs like really close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they're pretty tall too.
And And then our land actually lies in between two rivers. There's a river to the west and a river to the east.
Okay. Now Daniel says that he's lived in the power line since 1985, and he's never seen one.
If you get to thinking about that kind of height, also, even when we go through the woods, you don't really look up in the woods unless you hear something, up in the trees unless you hear something. Usually.
Yeah.
I mean, at their size, they could blend right in with the trees.
Yeah.
If they turn sideways, and if they don't want you to see you, just see them. But people don't think about a lot of stuff that can. I mean, how smart they are. Okay, that brings me to this point. What do y'all think they are?
You want to go first?
I don't know what they are. I mean, I think there's more to them. I think they will bleed, but I think there's more to them than flesh and blood. Some sort of spirituality part of it. I don't know how to explain what it is, but there's something more to them than just flesh and blood.
Yeah.
And that sums it up for me. I mean, I believe there's something more to them.
Yeah.
I think they can be here and be flesh and blood, but they have special abilities that us humans cannot understand.
Right. Or have lost.
Yeah. I believe that I always look towards the Bible for answers, and it makes me think of the fallen angels in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be something to do with that? I ain't saying that they are them,
Right?
But if that gene carried on,
right, to be descendants of.
Well, the Bible didn't say that the fallen angels just mated with women.
Yeah.
They mated with animals also, and that's the only place I can go with it anymore.
Yeah.
And they also manipulated plants and stuff too.
Yeah.
So.
But and what people don't realize is, this world is it's a spiritual place. There's a lot more out there than what people realize.
Yes.
And I'd say if we didn't have TVs and radios and stuff like that, people would be more in tune with nature.
Yes.
Would probably see and hear a lot more stuff than they do out there.
I agree.
I would say out of the population, there's only 1% that is in the woods much.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound like much, but when you consider how big the population is, that would be a lot of people. But I bet guarantee you that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm talking like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And that's
But one thing that I think that everybody wants answers, but as long as this has been researched and people have been checking into this, we're really not any further ahead than what we were, 50, 60 years ago or longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think your Native American people, if you want answers, they're going to have the truest answers that you can find.
We've had a lot. We had one show that had 3 different tribes.
I watched it.
And I'm saying, and they basically kind of seem to have the same. They're friends, the same feelings we do about it, and but they're like, that's been handed down from generation to generation. I mean, they're a spiritual thing, not just flesh and blood.
But I think that's where people need to listen.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like why I even got into this part of it. I enjoy being in the woods more.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of the men in my family are not outdoorsmen. The women are.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Misty and her mom and her boyfriend and Caitlin and her husband now, they're all out in the woods a lot. And I wanted them to know what to do if they encountered it.
Yeah.
And what not to do.
Yeah.
Well, and some of the nieces and nephews and stuff too,
Yes,
and great
yes.
nieces and nephews. So
Yes, and other people, don't get out if you can. Do not pull a gun and shoot at them.
No.
That's my main thing.
Yeah.
Of reading. I mean, it'd be hard not to sometimes. Yeah. Especially if they were coming at you, and I'm not, but I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to help you. So just like a matter. So
I don't either. I think your best solution in that would be to pray and just start backing away. Don't run, which would be almost impossible. But
yes, that's right, Miss Burby. At least now there are people telling of their counters, thanks to people like you all, and we do appreciate y'all coming on.
I was going to say my nephew seen one down here on the river when he was about 10-year-old, I believe, and he's what 20.
Oh, he's no, he's older than that. He's probably 30. He's a Marine. He's in the Marines now.
So 20 years ago, roughly, somewhere in there. But he was with his dad. His dad is an avid hunter, fisherman. That's all he's ever done his whole life. And he brought those kids up in the woods,
Yeah.
And well, they was down there fishing, and he seen one while he was fishing. It scared him so bad, he never went back out there fishing with him anymore.
Well, he quit hunting. He quit hunting.
Scared him that bad.
He said it was about 9 foot tall, and this happened once again, probably 2 miles from where we live.
Oh, it's closer than that.
Closer than that?
Yeah.
He said it was about 9 foot tall. He said it was lanky, it wasn't like real muscular. He said it had like a blondish, tan colored hair. He said his hair was really pretty. Long hair. And he said, but it had knelt down and was scooping up water with his hand and bringing water up to its mouth when they locked eyes. And then he started screaming, and he jumped off that log and started running towards his dad.
Huh.
But I mean, so just in this area, within our, where we live, there's been multiple sightings.
Yeah. You was talking about praying, and that's what Skeeter and Reverend had both put on there. Rebuke. But but you've got to have that faith for that to work.
Yeah. Yes.
If you don't have faith in God and Jesus Christ, rebuking will not work.
Yeah.
But and I've heard people say, "Well, you can't rebuke a dog or a bear or anything like that." It ain't. But I can attest to his sister one time when she was young. Her and a friend was walking down the road, and these dogs come up barking and growling at them. She said, they were coming after them, and she said, they didn't have nothing. She said she turned around and started rebuking them in the name of Jesus Christ. She said them dogs stopped dead in their tracks.
Yes.
And ran. So
you're just asking for help.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if you've got the faith, I mean, it may not work, but it may not be that's the reason why. It could be we don't know all the reasons behind things.
Yeah. I've seen too many miracles in my life that
yes.
I know things. I know what the Lord can do. So,
yeah.
I
walked away from 3 car wrecks that I shouldn't. None of them were my fault. But I should have never walked away from any of them alive. And the only thing I got was a broke finger right there. And that's it. Off those 3, total, all 3 vehicles. I got hit by other vehicles. Mm-hmm. And so, and I'll just always figured God still had a purpose for me.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. We won't go until our time's not ready.
That's right.
I got some questions. Wait a minute. Let's see. I thought you had sent me that structure, like maybe that wasn't your picture. That was, but I can't find it. I looked in because I
didn't send it.
Well, that's another one you didn't send that I got, and now it's gone.
What?
I had written down here, Pam, stick and brush structure. How large was the opening?
Wow.
What?
That opening looked big.
It was big enough I could get in it. I got actually crawled in there to sit down.
Well,
You
how,
know.
That's what it looked more like, almost a mound than it. But I know.
I think they hid their baby out in there while they would hunt, because it was right on the creek bank. That's where this was at. And,
Now, sure, you might have seen that picture whenever we were at LBL. I believe I remember them showing it to
I
us
saw
then.
it today on this on the pictures that Pam sent.
She stole your pictures, Pam. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's
I'm
two.
kidding.
That's two that she has, and she didn't send them, and I got them.
yeah, and that don't make no sense.
No.
Unless they were connected to another picture that you sent, maybe.
No, the only picture that I sent her was the picture of me and Paul, and I mean, nothing was because I looked, because I thought, well, maybe that picture was actually part of a video that I tagged onto the video. So I went back to the picture. It was just a picture, and the cat video was in a file. It wasn't even around that picture, and
that's the only one I got to keep. But now it won't play. Like it did, because I heard the loudness of it. But the other two, I got those, and now they're absolutely. I looked in my folder, was going to re-add them, and they're not in there.
That's just weird.
My files.
But I've had weird stuff happen.
Large.
Okay, after the show, I want to tell y'all something.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Okay.
But I had something else happen real weird with my phone too. This was right before we was getting ready to go to LBL, because I was walking. I had my hands full. I had like some cleaning stuff and paper towels and stuff in my hand. I had my phone in my hand. I was going down to put it in the camper, and all of a sudden my phone started doing this. Made like a sonar sound, like won't, like that. And I looked at it, and it had this twirling thing going on the screen. The whole screen was black except for this twirling thing, and I could feel it in my hand. It was doing that won't, and I was like, "What in the world?" And I put everything down, and I was looking at my phone, and it just quit.
Wow.
You're not gonna believe it. I've had that happen to my phone too, and the only thing, and I had some stuff going after that on my phone. I don't know how they could monitor everything, but I think if maybe certain pictures are set to trigger people that are watching this stuff, or certain videos with where we use those words, like Bigfoot, whatever, that they're set up to, and they get rid of some of the evidence.
Could be. It's a possibility. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
And it's always weird stuff that happens.
Yeah.
So.
Do y'all get a lot of howls, yells, and howls?
We've had some.
Yeah, actually, quite a few. Actually.
Whether or not we can say for sure, that's what it was. Now, Mark Newble was out here, and it was so funny because he was camping back there in this place I call Spooky Trail. Man, it's so creepy back there to me. It's what I feel when I go back there. And he was setting up this thing outside. Is a speaker, but he could. It was a mic, but he was doing something where he could sit in his camper and hear what was going on outside. Well, he was trying to get it set up, but thank God he had put out a recorder. Because he had put out a recorder, and then he started trying to get this mic ready. Well, it started backfeeding and started doing that noise, and it was loud. Well, he got that to quit, and then right after that, something let out a howl. We all sat there and looked at each other. But when he read it, when he put it through the spectrogram, he said it showed as nothing known. And he said it went right in line with what they consider to be a possible Bigfoot vocalization. But he said it doesn't show any animal.
So he put it on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And recordings never do justice for
what you
actually hear.
Oh no, they never do.
Okay, bad question.
Okay.
Have y'all ever seen anything else besides Bigfoot that you thought of might have been like a dog man or something?
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw her face.
I saw something I can't explain because it doesn't make any sense. I've never really even brought it up because it doesn't make sense. But I was leaving out. I was going out one morning, and then our road. We go over the creek. It's a straight road, and then kind of off to the left is a little power line. I looked up there. I seen something. I looked up there, and the trees were off, or the leaves were off the trees. And what I saw was blacker than black, but it was a canine head. All I could see was a head. I couldn't see a body. And I watched it as I was driving, but I wasn't about to stop because I thought if that's what it could be, I didn't want it to know that I seen it. That's what was going through my head.
Oh, yeah.
So that night or that evening or the next evening, I can't remember which, he went up there. I went down there and stood where I was at. And when he went up there and he stood, this thing's head was easy double the size of his head. And this is what gets even weirder. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't see a body, but it looked like a German Shepherd head. Actually, it reminded me more of like a Belgian Malinois, or a German, or a Dutch Shepherd. That's what I'm thinking. A Dutch Shepherd. They have the way their face is shaped and the really pointed ears. But like I said, it was double the size of his head. But I couldn't see a body, which makes no sense. There were some weeds and stuff up there, but not a lot. And then, but he went into the woods right there from where I seen it. And I was watching him. I've seen him go into the woods, and then he wasn't in there. Probably, it was less than a minute. I'll say 45 seconds. And then I see movement up at the top of the hill, and he had on a tan colored shirt. It was his work shirt, and this was tan colored, and I could see tan. And I'm like, how did he get up there so fast? Because it was coming back out towards the power line. I could just see little glimpses of something tan going through the woods. And I watched, and it never came out. And I actually saw it turn and go back. And I'm sitting there thinking, what's going on? And then a few minutes later, he comes back out where he went in at. Well, then I asked him, I said, how did you get up to the top up there so fast? He said, I never went to the top. He said, I heard something up there walking. He said, but I just thought maybe it was a deer. And I said, no. I said, there was something. I said, and it was upright. And I said, it was walking. I said, it came all the way across that top up there. I said, but it never stepped out. But, that was all a weird scenario. But what I saw that was black, it was blacker than black. That's the only way I can describe the black. I mean, it was weird. And it had the shape of a Dutch Shepherd.
I was trying to get the picture up on there of the shepherd you're talking about.
Because my daughter, she was a canine officer, and she had a Belgian Malinois, but it was now her second canine's a Dutch Shepherd, and it was like his.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you get it?
No, I couldn't get it done in time. Let's see. I got the picture, but getting it loaded was going to take a minute, and I kept losing it.
Looks like in the comments and stuff, everybody's starting to have some bad weather, so I hope everybody's safe. Please stay safe.
Oh, I did send you more pictures. It was of those tracks that had claws with a knife. I emailed you those.
I'm looking through. I saw them, and I added them, but they're gone too.
They're gone too.
They should still be in the email. That's what I'm trying to. Let me try to go through here.
I forgot because I knew I had sent you something else, but I couldn't remember what it was. And then now we start talking about the.
Some of them, I couldn't see them in the email. I had to download them, and I downloaded everything, but they're not in my downloads now. It's weird, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, we've got a moment here. I was going to let everybody know that Chad and Erica are not going to do a show today. Erica's not feeling well, so Everybody keep Miss Erica in your prayers. Erica, we hope you get to feeling better soon. Anybody else need any questions? Please put them in the comments. Caps, please, so maybe I can see them with my blind eyes, old age. And we've had a really good time. We really appreciate Paul and Miss Pam coming on. I mean, I'm just trying to fill air. So,
well, Jim and I got to spend a lot of time with them down there on the last trip, and we really enjoyed it too. 3 or 4 times we sat and talked a long time, and
yeah, we hadn't actually got to talk or really get to know Pam and Paul, and we really had a great time. I'm so tickled y'all came over to our camp. Yeah. It's not that we try to keep from being sociable, but it seems like we're always stuck at the camp doing something. So whenever it's a meet and greet, everybody please come by. You're more than welcome. But it's just that it seems like we're just always stuck there. So
a lot of cooking and cleaning up.
Every time we went over there, y'all had like a huge meal cooked. So
yeah. Jim's a diabetic and he's got to have his food. So
and Daryl just likes to eat, so I finally got him into it.
Yeah, this her husband's just now getting into going on all these trips. I think he really enjoyed it and had a good time. He found out that's not all it is. You know, there's a lot of good people that you can just sit and talk with about other things that you got in common. You know,
there was something that I never told anybody. I told Paul that happened at LBL that I never told anybody.
Or you can tell us. Spencer just have to get over it.
I guess it was the last night when we was there. And they had the fire going, and we was over there on the far side of the fire, talking with Miss Verby. She was sitting over there, and she had given us some shirts, and we was talking with her
last night.
Yeah, that was the last night, and there was some vehicles parked behind us there, where we was at. And, and then you have the light from the fire, and, plus people had, a few lights here and there, but, and I could see that vehicle behind us. And then I seen movement behind the vehicle, like something had come up beside the vehicle. And I was expecting somebody to come up and like open the door to that vehicle, but they never did. And so I was keeping a watch back there, because I couldn't really see the surroundings. And then about that time, somebody from the other side of the fire had started up their vehicle and shined back there. There was nobody back there. I don't know what came up beside that vehicle, but there was something upright that came up to the side of that vehicle and then turned around and went back. And all that was back behind the vehicle was woods.
Oh, well, would that be about where Greg and them were sitting, where they set up at, or would that be more to like Roger and them?
No, it was probably where Greg was set up at. It would have been further to, if you're looking at it, further to the left, a little left. There was
about where Dog was at.
Dog was at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that's gonna make him feel good.
He said something hit the van one night. I think the last night. Was it the last night?
Yeah, it was the last night.
Yeah, he said something. He said something about.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Are you serious?
No. He said, I don't remember if he said it hit it or because he was a little tore up that next morning.
Really?
That's the only time. And
this was the only other vehicle.
Was that the only vehicle over? I don't know. I don't remember.
Or no?
He was just like two. He was like 2 spots above us, wasn't he, Don? Out there, fence row.
Yeah, we had you, me, Mr. Tucker, and then Dog.
Yeah,
in the bathrooms.
I tell you what, I'm so tired at night when I get ready to go to bed. I'm not, I in the past I've heard a lot of things and see, but the last couple of times I've been tired. I get packed and get down there and cook and all that stuff, and I'm out. So I'm gonna have to start taking me a nap during the daytime, so I can stay up like later because everything's late.
Yeah. I don't know what it was I saw because at first I just thought it was somebody going to their vehicle, but they come from behind the vehicle, which I was because I kept looking. I was listening to Miss Verby, but I kept looking up there, and they come around from the back of the vehicle, and all I could make out was it was upright, and then they turned and went back, and then right after it went back, somebody flipped on their headlights, but there was nobody back there. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
I walked around that last day, the hill that was behind us, you know. I walked it a lot looking for tracks and stuff, and then I walked up, like if we're facing up the hill where the fire was. I walked up that hill up there around, but I did find some stuff, but it looked old, but it might not have been it, so I don't know. But I know, you know, I'm sure, I believe everything people say. And best dog's heart, he's not in this for that. He just comes to see the people. Yeah. And it really, he's a sweet boy, or boy to me, but it disturbs him a lot when things happen. He's not wanting to make things up, you know.
Well, I guess it was probably his vehicle then that I've seen this. I don't know. unless somebody else had pulled down there and temporarily parked or something, but you know,
it would have been close anyway, because there wasn't that much distance between ours and his, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it may have made the rounds around everybody looking in, you know, trying to check people out. I mean the whole thing, you know, whatever it was.
Well, I know a couple of times, Gary Spikes, he told me, he said there's one right back there. Or he'd say there's one right over there by Greg's.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I think he's pretty keen on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's in tune with them. I have no reason not to believe him.
Yeah. Yep.
Sherry, did you see anything in the creek bed? I'm sorry, one window just come up.
No, I walked the creek bed too, Wendell, looking for stuff. But, you know, it was kind of dry. It was pretty dry.
Yeah.
At that time. And,
well, you and I walked back in the woods on creek bed and stuff too, and we did a couple of times we were out by ourselves.
You and I went down also besides there. We went down behind Bama's campsite and went back through there. He was camped a long ways from us, and we walked down there and went back in there and took a big long hike. And but when it's real dry, it's really hard to tell. And but I didn't notice any flipped over rocks or anything like that disturbed, which you would usually see. And if it was prints, it was so dry, it would just be dusty. So you couldn't tell.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been deep or anything. So
no, we weren't in any deep, really wet creeks, just dry bed creeks. So
yeah.
Didn't see any snakes either. That's what I was watching for a lot. So I don't care. I can pick up a snake, but don't want to get snake bit. You know, snakes don't scare me. Anybody else got any questions real quick before we get off? Because we've kept it, and this has been a good interview. We appreciate y'all doing it. Been
sorry, said short notice.
Oh, that's all right.
Looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Yes, we are. We'll definitely spend some more time together.
Yeah. We're probably going to sponsor it. We did a sponsored LBL trip one time, and not just us, but you know, with everybody else. And we'll probably do one maybe in the early part of fall before honey starts, maybe again. We'd like to do something down here. A lot of people have asked us, but there's just no proper. I mean, we've got places, but there's not enough area for people to camp.
Yeah.
You know, wilderness areas, and it's just I mean, there's not a camping area big enough, and you can't get, you know, just everywhere like you can up at LBL.
Yeah.
But if we can find a place down here, we're going to try to sponsor one down here.
Yeah.
We are looking.
Yeah. It's just it wouldn't be within like 40 miles of us, you know, because that's our research area, maybe out to 40 miles, and we've got an area where we hunt up there, but that we could do it, but I've got to look around and count the places, and they've been working on the roads up there, and then and if you can't reserve sites like up there, you don't know if it's going to be full of, you know, those people that stay for a month at a time, you know, and stuff.
Yeah,
they'll get those too, and I don't know if we can sponsor a big one or not, but we might be able to do a little one up there. But it's a good place. Now Misty and I got some really good activity one night when she and I were there by ourselves.
Mhm.
And it was so cold. I'm telling you, by the time we left, I couldn't even. I finally, I said, Misty, it's right when everything really had just been going on. And I said, we got to go. I said, I can't feel the steering wheel. That's how cold it was, you know.
Yeah.
And then we're a long ways up there from anybody. We're probably 3-4 miles. And when we came in, there was only a couple people camping at the bottom. And so, you know, we're a long ways up through there on a gravel road. And I said, if they knock a tree down in front of us, we're stuck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Lori, it does seem like that Spencer said something about that, or somebody I heard to say about it. So I don't know if they're going to or not. We'll just, I guess, have to wait and see.
I don't think they should do that. And I'm sure everybody else feels the same way. That's government land for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah.
And if they take it all off to as many people as there are anymore, it's going to be hard to get into places.
Yeah.
You know, if they sell a lot of it.
Yeah. I know we're kind of jumping different places. I'm sorry. I was just going to mention Happy Memorial Day to everybody. And please, let's take this holiday and take it seriously, like Spencer was talking about earlier in his show. You know, this is for the fallen soldiers and for their families and stuff. So let's keep everybody in our prayers. And, you know, thank God that we do have soldiers that will take care of us for the amenities and things that we have in this country, because this is a wonderful country. We can fuss and gripe about it, but I wouldn't want to live anyplace else.
And we came real close to losing a lot of that with the administration we had in the past.
Yes. And we're not going to get into politics or nothing, but just everybody remember what we have here, and look at the other countries and see what they don't have compared to us, and thank our soldiers.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for them fighting for it, we wouldn't have it.
That's right.
And thank God. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Anybody got anything else? We love y'all. Go ahead.
Oh, I was wanting to talk to y'all after the show.
Okay.
Yeah, stay in. Stay in.
Okay.
We love y'all for watching. We know 90% of you, and we think a lot of you, and we do appreciate you. And we appreciate Pam and Paul for getting on. We appreciate everybody that does these shows. Appreciate the guests, because there's no show without the guests. And you know, and some people don't like to come forward, but the fact that they do shows that, you know, they want to get the word out there about this stuff too.
Yes. And God bless everybody and keep y'all safe this holiday.
Y'all got anything else to say?
We're
Okay.
good.
We're in the stream. We'll talk to you.
Love y'all.
Love you too. Love everybody on here.
Okay.
Little bit of beep, 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 beep. That's a monster meter. I'm a southern Appalachian Sasquatch seeker. Looking in a cave, looking in a hollow, looking on a mountain, looking in the water. Little bit of beep, 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 beep. That's a muncher meter. I'm a southern Appalachian Sasquatch seeker. We're going seeking, gonna see what we can find, gonna look high and low and around, and maybe we'll find just what we're looking for. It don't matter if it's night or day, rain or shine, we won't stop till we find just what we're looking for. Some say they might be the devil, others say they're the masters of the woods. Well, I don't know and I don't care, but I'll tell you this, I know the reals. When we hear that howl as it's coming closer, and we feel the thunder of the steps, will we look it face to face, or will we just run? Some say they might be the devil, others say they're the masters of the woods. Well, I don't know and I don't care, but I'll tell you this, this, I know they're real. When we hear that howl as it's coming closer, and we feel the thunder of the steps, will we look it face to face, or will we just run?